Hi friends, we're about to make our first trip as a family of 7. Well, our first long trip. Who's excited?
I am! Woo!
I'm kind of excited. Our first stop will be in Boise, where we're going to do some glamping in a vacant rental house. It is currently 75 degrees, and when we get there, it'll be about 20 degrees warmer than it is right now. So there's going to be a lot of complaining.
Nothing.
We're starting our trip with gas station food, which is the greatest of food. So this was embarrassing. The last time we drove through Utah, which was 9 years before that, we decided to stop at the Dairy Gold factory for a tour because we'd always wanted to do that. And they have like an ice cream shop and other things that you can buy there, like curds and stuff. So we thought we should do that again because that was such a great memory. And we somehow didn't realize they don't do tours anymore. So here we are, knocking on a door to their business office, and Sabrina had to go to the bathroom really bad, and they let us in just so I could take her potty, and then we had to go somewhere else for everybody else to go to the bathroom. So they probably thought we were idiots. This is the nicest gas station bathroom I've ever been in. And coming around this corner is where we almost died in 2001 when we were going there for Christmas. And I'll probably make a separate video about that. We're in Boise now. We just spent the night in a property that belongs to my sister-in-law. I slept horrible, which would happen in a hotel too, so either way. This house has a weird layout. So here's the kitchen. We have some croissants and Nutella for breakfast, which, you know, it's the breakfast of champions. It's a cute little kitchen. Let's get back on the road. This is kind of interesting how the molding had to be cut out for the light switch here. Then you have steps down from the kitchen. Is that funny? And there's a fan going down there because there was a leak downstairs in one of the rooms because someone left a hose running and then it leaked through the window in the basement. And then we slept in here. My friend loaned me an air mattress. Sabrina's doing the wise thing before day 2 of driving all day. This is the little house we stayed in, and getting out of here early because these guys are putting in a driveway. If you guys ever end up at this rest stop, beware. The self-flushing toilet will flush while you're sitting on it, and it will spray you in the bum. Utah! Our first stop was in Brigham City, which is where my ancestors settled after joining the church in Denmark. My great-great-great-grandfather was beaten almost to death by a mob while his wife and children escaped out the window and ran to a neighbor's house. And that mob included one of his brothers. Sometime later, when he was giving a talk in church, he talked about that incident, and a man walked up to him crying and said, "I was one of the men who beat you," and he had since joined the church. So they decided to go to Utah, and that was a major ordeal, and they even buried a baby along the Mississippi River. That flour mill still belongs to my family, and then we decided to go to the cool old cemetery where some of my relatives are buried. This was a pretty emotional moment for me because as I visited the cemetery and I saw the Brigham City temple, I thought about how my family sacrificed like everything to live our faith and how much this temple would have meant to them. This was my first time seeing it since it was built. After that, we were determined to see our living family as quickly as possible, but we still had one cool stop to make. We had to make a quick stop here to see the Pioneer charcoal burning pits.
Tommy, go in there and take a big whoop here.
I'm going here.
Smells a little bit like urine.
Urine. People probably eating that.
Gross.
I'm gonna go in, Mom. Pee in here.
Couldn't do it out on the road.
Shame on you, Justin.
Shame on Justin. Shame on Dark Ho.
Dark hoe.
I'm glad there's such respect
Actually, a lot cooler in here.
Yes,
for the things our ancestors made.
Come on, we have
This
to
could
claim
probably
our
cave in on our
territory.
heads.
Probably.
I'm gonna go pee on my bush.
Depends throwing a rock at it.
ACDC was also here.
What is that? What sounds?
How far?
I think people have been fornicating in here. When we finally got there, we had lots of hugs with my in-laws, who I'm sure don't want to be on the internet. And we got settled in and hung out there for a while before our official family reunion. And also before the reunion, we went for a hike with my brother-in-law and his family. And that was quite the adventure. We went on a little hike, which I never do, so I'm really proud of myself. Just hours after we had been there was a flash flood, and that road we drove on, it was washed out. And it's really kind of chilling to see Eric climbing on that muddy hillside. When we were done risking our lives, we went to the slowest fast food place ever, and we hung out at my brother-in-law's house, where he has this really funny sign in his bathroom. And then we went back to my in-laws and we chilled. And we also went swimming at the pool, and I did a lot of healthy cooking. And then it was time for the actual reunion, which had over 30 people. There's some nice trees here. This place is huge and there's so much to do here. So although it's in the middle of the desert, we're not bored. So we're staying in this big weight room. So if I can't sleep in the middle of the night, I can just pump some iron. When I walked by our room last night, I saw this really cool air mattress and thought, where did that come from? And when I saw that my bedding was on it, I was so excited. My awesome brother-in-law brought this. And I slept better last night than I have this whole trip. We also have large bathrooms that have showers in them. But apparently, there's no hot water. There's shuffleboard. Lots of pool tables and a ping pong table. We have a large eating area, which is also great for playing games. And this is the small kitchen. Wait till I show you the big kitchen. And this was a great place for Sabrina to feel sick last night. She had lots of movies to watch, so that was great. Tennis courts out back. I have a little Vanna White assistant here. So. Ooh. Show us your hands, Crystal. Very Vanna White hands. And we have this whole large area. I'm really excited I can play the piano a little bit. And we have this commercial kitchen. My brothers-in-law made us breakfast this morning. It was awesome.
Up the stairs to her apartment, she's balled upon the couch.
Eric decided to wander around in the desert until he found a scorpion, and then he brought it,
only
in
took like
for
3
us
minutes.
to admire.
It took 3 minutes, and I could hear rattlesnakes out there.
That sounds safe. We then went to Topaz Mountain to look for topaz, as you might have guessed. And I wasn't doing well at the time, and the way I got through our hike was by not eating that morning. And of course, I got sick after lunch that day. But I really didn't want to miss out on this activity with the family. And I knew there was a strong chance I was going to ruin it. And I felt bad because I kind of did. But I did stick it out, I think, a reasonable amount of time. When it rains, it washes Topaz down into this area, and you can see sparkles all over the place, which is tiny little pieces of topaz. I came here years ago and I found actually pretty good little pieces of topaz. So far I only see microscopic ones. I found one! Saw a lizard. This expert came by who does a blast tour where he takes people out and they do little explosions to do some rock hounding, I guess. And he told us to go out to where the sage is, and he said we'd find them in here. That's a pretty good one right there. He said we weren't going to find them in the grass, and he was saying that some of the roads were out because of the flash flooding recently, and that flash flooding brought the topaz way out here. So this is a lot of fun, and it's actually bearable today because we have a nice wind. We're not going to pick up broken glass because that's not safe. Okay, Mommy's getting sick again. We're gonna have to go. I'm getting sick. I'm getting sick.
You're getting sick?
Yeah. We're gonna have to.
Hey, Dad, we gotta leave. We gotta leave. Mom's getting sick again.
I have to get to a bathroom in here because they're halfway up the mountain. In case you're wondering if I died, I did not die. I also did not have any personal disasters, which I'm very grateful for. And I probably rested for a while when we got back and went back to playing games. And my brother-in-law made a delicious, Brazilian lasagna that has ham in it and stuff. It was good. I think he sent me the recipe. I need to make it. Forgetting about that. During that time, it hurt to drink water, and sometimes my family would watch me cry. Good times. After the official reunion, we went back to my in-laws again to chill some more. We needed to get lots of rest after not sleeping wonderful. And then we decided to make a trip up north to Salt Lake City where we could see Temple Square and other sites. We also stopped to visit one of my sisters-in-law who couldn't make it to the reunion. And we also crammed in a picnic with my cousin. And we barely had enough time to just see the conference center and go up on the roof. So hopefully we can get more time in Salt Lake next time. And unfortunately, I didn't get any photos at the picnic because I think it was because Carmen was feeling sick at the time. My battery also may have been dying. I don't remember. We're now in the middle of the desert where we had to dump out vomit. Let's document this moment so we can remember it forever. Thankfully, the illness was short-lived and my kids got to spend more time bonding with their grandparents that they hardly got to see in years. And we enjoyed some of the things that their little town has to offer. We also started to do some cleaning to get ready to go home. I was determined not to leave a mess for my in-laws. Here it is. This is Cemetery Falls. It's actually an irrigation canal. But why do they call it Cemetery Falls? Is it because people die in it all the time? No, it's because it's right across the street from a cemetery. By the way, it's considered trespassing to swim in the irrigation canal. And apparently people don't do that anymore. Maybe.
What?
No monument placement without a permit. You hear that? You can't just bury bodies here whenever you want to. There's the budget hotel, which is $50 a night. They do have a McDonald's. And there's a Subway, so that's pretty exciting. And that Dollar General stuff is not just $1. That's misleading. Here we have the Topaz Museum, in case you're too lazy to go look for your own. Which I usually am. And we are now approaching the one traffic light in town. Oh, another motel. Well, that cafe is actually open and they have Chinese food. Now we're approaching the shadiest part of town, which is what's called the Lodi Bridge. Lodi is a word for druggie, and if you want to do drugs, you come hang out under this bridge. I think usually when people do drugs under this bridge, it's with friends or something, but I don't have any friends here. I have some imitation Good and Plenty's. They're called licorice beans, but they kind of look like pills. Don't do drugs, kids. Now, for some reason, they have Family Dollar on one side of the street and General Dollar on the other side. Is that what it's called? I'm not sure what Delta did to deserve $2 stores that apparently aren't really dollar stores. They do have an Ace Hardware, but if you need to go to Home Depot and you live in Delta, you're probably pretty much screwed. Here is one of 2 grocery stores in town. The other one is called Jubilee. And let's see how much a pail of ice cream is here, because at Jubilee it was over $8. I felt violated. Okay, it's even worse here, you guys. It's $8.99 for a gallon of ice cream. I can get it for $4 on sale at Fred Meyer at home. But they do have 2 for $5 on half gallons. Delta also has a movie theater that plays 2 movies at the same time every night. And right now the choices are Dora the Explorer and Lion King. And you can't sneak into one movie after going to the first movie because it's impossible due to them playing at the same time. Oh, here comes a native. We also have the health department, the questionable looking pizza place, and the bowling alley, which probably has 2 lanes. I don't know. 3, 4. We might actually go there. Okay, they have 12 lanes, but some of them are having problems, as you can see. That one. Possibly some leaks going on. The drinking fountain has seen better days too, so I think I'm just not going to drink out of that. For added fun, their bathrooms weren't marked men and women, and when I had to take Sabrina there quickly, I turned around and suddenly realized there was a urinal there. And there was also a toilet that was continually flushing. non-stop. These were the smallest shoes they had for Sabrina. She wasn't happy about it. He did it! Seems like the floor is not smooth in places. Woo! It's Carmen's turn. Okay, let's see if I can bowl and film at the same time. Oh, I should hold the camera all the time. Can I get the spare? Probably not.
Straight in the gutter.
Go left, go left. No!
Record. Stop.
Yeah, I gotta record myself.
No.
Come
You're
on.
gonna ruin me.
No, I did better. Excuse me.
And I did worse.
Okay. Here we go. I was getting so many gutter balls, and then the last 2 times I pick up the camera and suddenly I can throw the ball. That's the key. I get to do it again. Here we go.
Dang it, Mom.
No! Our last night there, my in-laws treated us to some pizza, and we ended up having so much we were able to take some with us on the road. And we were waiting for someone to decide if they could see us on the way out of town, so I suggested we drive to see Little Sahara, which we had seen from afar, and that has the biggest sand dunes in North America. I thought it would be fun just to drive up and see it, but then it turned out it cost like $20 just to get in, so that wasn't really worth driving in real quick. So hopefully it's something we can do someday. And we did almost go there for the day with one of my cousins, but we had that sickness being passed around, so we had to cancel, which was a bummer. That's pretty right there. T. T is for time to leave. Last week we drove past this and I couldn't see what it was, and I tried Googling it and it was really bothering me. And we didn't think we'd pass through here again, but for various reasons we did. And so now we pulled over and turned around because we drove past it again. And so it's the original Goshen Pioneer Cemetery. The following 18 men, women, and infants are buried herein. Oh, it's sad. Note to self, never stop at this rest stop again. Never stop at a rest stop where they say bathrooms are outside, because that's always a bad sign. When they work inside, they can't smell the bathroom and they don't care. It smelled like 10 people went diarrhea in there.
I know you're pointing at her, but I can see it.
We're at a place called Smoky Mountain Pizzeria and Grill, and I ordered the small chicken parmigiana with pesto, but it's not looking that small. And during the fair in Boise, kids eat free with every adult entree, so that's pretty cool. If you've got a huge burger meal thing, Sabrina's happy with her own little cheese pizza, and Jared got some tortellini. Now we have to drive 2 more hours to the hotel, and we're hoping we can go swimming. You guys, this room is so awesome. Can you believe this? 3 queen beds in 1 room, and we didn't have to get 2 hotel rooms. So this is a Super 8 motel, and this is actually much nicer than what I was expecting. We didn't want to stay in a flip house on the way home because we've had some kids throw up in the family, and the house we stayed in last is now staged, and it would have been way too stressful if one of our kids threw up in there. So I decided to bite the bullet and just get a hotel room. Hair dryer is a bonus. We've been showering in a very tiny shower that's so small you have to like turn off the water to soap up. And now I'm checking for bed bugs just because that's what I do.
I am ready!
We had a pretty good night at the Super 8, and I would recommend this to anyone who has a large family. But there's still 1 bathroom, so prepare to pee your pants. Now we just hit Burger King, and I think we're finally gonna make it home.